everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all had a really good vacation. I'm trying to get my computer up and functioning so I can read comments since I'm winging it alone. Let me put my apron on so that we don't get fur everywhere. Let's see. So I'm not sure how long these tutorials are going to last. It's going to be entirely up to Dollar Tree to see if they're going to continue to carry the witch hat form. I'm hopeful that they will this year. I happen to have probably maybe eight left. So if they do, they're probably going to come like this. They're either going to come in black or they're going to come, or not black, silver, with the silver boo or the purple boo. So even if you can purchase them, let's make sure the SKU numbers are same. It is. So it's 240514. I don't believe they're going to start to carry these in stock just yet. So normally if you order them, like I said, you'll get, it depends on if the quantities change and how they're shipping too, because all that changes too. But normally you would get 12 of the purple and then 12 of the silver. You can't ask for any specific, so that's why the SKU numbers are exactly the same for purple as they are for this, even though they have two totally different tags. The part number is exactly the same on the item. I'm trying to see. This one doesn't give a date. This one says 2015. So this is what we're going to work on today. I need the silver one, but I wanted to show you that it is available in the purple as well. But you need, believe it or not, the only thing you really need is the form, and then you need this little square right here. Everything else we're going to dissect and pull apart. So I'm going to be really careful when I take off this square. So it's got all the little fuzz because it's glued on. We'll fix that in a second. Everything else we are just going to cut and remove off the form. So we need the actual frame around this. So you'll see I'm just going to unwind. The boo just comes off too. It's just cardboard glued on to the tinsel. There we go. And then just, I'm trying to wind it because I don't want to get the tinsel all over the floor. So we're going to transform this into a Santa hat. These are really popular. It's a low price point item. So as you see, it's just wrapped on there. You want to be really careful because it's plastic. And once you crack the plastic, that's it. It's done. You have to start all over again on another form if for whatever reason you snap everything off. And I remove everything. I take the little hanger off because it's never in the right place. Let's remove the price tag. And then we'll take this off as well. So I just want to feel in here and get one of these going. And then once you get that, it's the same thing, just a back and forth wrap around those little black nubs. I used to cut them off, but I don't cut them off anymore because they actually help hold your mesh on. You can totally tell they like just really wrapped that. I wish they'd make it out of thicker plastic, but they don't. So let's get this one off. There we go. Once you figure out the way it goes, they just go around. They're just wrapped. It's hard to believe that somebody's probably doing that as a full-time job. You know, unwrapping or wrapping the tinsel, glue the boo on, stuff it in a box. The ends. see. There we go. That's where they tied it. Okay, here's our frame. We need the little square. Everything else goes in the trash. So this is where your materials cost at this point starts at $1. Okay, see, it's all this stuff that I'm trying to avoid. But once you remove it, it's gone. And of course, all it does is just fly. From one hand to the other because we're having a low humidity day. So all it's doing is sticking everywhere. So we'll just use one of these and the tinsel will be gone. What a mess. Normally I have them already pre-prepped, but I wanted you guys to see how they come apart, what you'd have to do to get to the usable spot. And a lot of people will go buy the purple one and then they're like, I don't know what to use for the buckle. And it's like, I don't know. Silver paper maybe? Okay. Wow. Okay. That's all done. Okay. We have our frame. So it's a 2-method part. You're going to have the top method where we're going to wrap all this in red. And then you're going to have the bottom method where we're going to add our pipe cleaners. Now I'm going to start with my pipe cleaners. There should be 13. Okay. So I have red and white. Should have done them all white. I don't know why I did red. Lord cat. Okay, so you are going to start threading these. I'm going to start right here on the end, and I'm going to do one whole pipe cleaner just to make it simple so you can see them. You could go half, but it depends on what you choose to do with them. So we're going to start here. These are our end pieces. Again, be super careful because you don't want to crack the frame. Okay, then we're going to go around the outside. So I'm going to start one here. So I'm going around the part of the plastic, and I'm looking to get 7 here. Again, don't twist too hard. This is not like a Dollar Tree frame where we can really, wrestle that one in there pretty good. I do the same here, which is come through. We're going around 2. Put this one here. Okay. Then we're going to go right in here to here. I'm going like around the sections. Around here. Okay. One right in the center. I'm just going to try to give it a center as best as I possibly can. We want these to kind of go a little bit towards the bottom. So we don't want them to be so high up on the frame. These are covering the bottom half. So right there we have 7. Okay. We're going to go right here. So I'm going to go in between these two. So I'm going to the inside part of my hat now. Trying to get this to stay. There's that one. That's 8. Right in between here. So I'm just kind of going around the 2 wires. Probably put this one a little bit on this side. This is 9. Right in between. This will be 10. I ran out of white. Hang on. What did I say that was? 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Here is 11. Right here in the corner. And then we will probably put, I usually try to stick them in between. So I have them fairly thick here. I will probably put one here and here, I think. So let's go here. That makes that 12. And then I'll put another piece here in the corner just to kind of fill that gap. And the deco mesh I'm using on this one, different than what I've done in the past. This one is fabric mesh. So this is just the fabric metallic mesh. I've never done one like this, so we're gonna see how it turns out. I decided to, normally they're only cut to 10-inch pieces. We're gonna be cutting these to 15 just because I felt it might be a little thinner and I still need it to be fairly full. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push all these down for now because we have to start with the brim. You always wrap the brim before you add your mesh down here to the bottom, because otherwise if you work this part, it's a little too hard to come back in and wrap your mesh after that. So the only thing you will require is 2 zip ties, one to start and one to finish. I'm using the 6-inch, so I'll pull those out just in case one does not work. And we are doing red metallic. I like putting the metallic on the hats because I feel like it needs to have a little bit of sparkle. So that's why we're trying to make this one. This is the Santa hat. You can make like elf hats, you can make winter hats, you can do all different kinds of color combinations. So we're gonna try it with fabric mesh. Never done this one yet. So we'll see how that works. You're gonna do the same thing like if you were starting a poof. You're just gonna gather your beginning pieces together like this. I'm gonna trim those up so I don't have those really ugly long pieces. And we're gonna do it from the back side, okay? And we are going to start right here on that top first little V section. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this here. I'm going to, this is where it's all gonna get clingy, really clingy. I'm gonna start that right in here to hold my piece. Not too tight. Again, plastic. We will cut this off. Okay. Let me see if you guys have questions before we begin. Did I change my scissors? No, Debbie, I just had this. They were just out here on the counter instead of my regular ones. So, here's the one. These are for like cutting my satin ribbon. So, okay, now how we start. So we want to take this, you can either flip it up. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the other side. You're just going to basically take this and you're going to wrap it. So we're going to make sure that our edges are folded in because ain't nobody want to see the edges. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to flip right over the very tip, just like that. Okay, I just flipped it from the back side around the other side. So I'm going to kind of deal with it like it is ribbon. Nice, pretty ribbon. So as long as we don't see the sides. Oops. I'm just going to take and I'm going to try to smoothly wrap the outside of my frame. So once you get it going, those little knobs on the side are going to help hold that mesh in place for you. So you want a really smooth look. I don't like to see any pucker in the material. So just really smooth. I'm hoping you guys can see this. I'm trying to keep my mesh. So just flat, nice even tension. Okay. Again, wrap. Even tension. And back even tension. And you can even have it, so right now the other side's trying to flip and come through. So I'm gonna let that one play around the back. I'm gonna hold this and then I'm gonna fix it from the back side. Okay, that just needs to go over there. So here is my edge that is trying to pop back over. So our goal is the back should look as smooth as the front, or somewhat smooth like the front. See, here's our edge. The edges, for some reason, always like to creep up. The hardest thing is keeping tension without snapping the frame. Okay, and then as you get towards the bottom, you kind of have to loop it and get it in to those little V areas, like under here. So we've almost got it brought down. I've got to bring up, around. Okay, I'm trying to get it in to that last little niche so we can fill in those little sections right there. Let me make sure my pipe cleaners are all out of the way. Again, trying really hard not to snap that frame and get it right in here. So that's like a perfect wrap. What I mean by perfect wrap is there's no puckering anywhere. You don't see any gaps happening anywhere. You don't see the edge of your frame coming up anywhere. And then what we're going to do is we are going to, I'm going to cut this off so it's out of the way. I'm going to take my last wrap, and this is going to go, let me find all my pipe cleaners, get them out of the way. It's this one right here. Okay, so I want this to stop right here. So I'm going to go up and over, okay? I'm going to zip tie this right in here. I'm going to cut that off. So now it's all completely secured. I have a nice, smooth, super soft too, wrap on this, and then I'm going to cut the excess off. Because we're coming in with a white fabric mesh, I don't want to see the red bleed through from the other side. Okay, we're all good. Didn't need my extra pipe cleaner or zip tie. So now I'm going to take these, bring these back up, make sure they're all where they need to be, because this determines now where I'll come in and we're going to do a ruffle. Can you use 5.5-inch mesh on this? Absolutely. Yes, you can. It's entirely up to you. I'm using 10-inch because I want a pretty thick, full look. So remember, I smashed them all flat so they were out of the way. Okay. So, any questions on wrapping the hat? You always start from the back at the top, and then this mesh is nice because it kind of has a stretch to it. So you can pull it, and then those little plastic things just kind of hold that mesh in place so it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so no questions, I'm guessing. Let's go ahead and add our mesh. I'm trying to keep the black tinsel out of the way. So again, cut to 15-inch pieces. We used 13 pipe cleaners. So I'm going to start on the end and do kind of like what we do with the wreath frame. I'm just going to take it and put it in the very next spot. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to do a nice little ruffle in here. What happens if we do a folded ruffle? Let's try that. That'll be something new, right? A little folded ruffle. Oops. Because I kind of like that. That looks a little nicer, a little bit more precise. But yeah, so that's Kath just making stuff up. So I did a folded ruffle, which means I went full ruffle, right? Went in half like this. Matter of fact, just to make sure they don't fall out, let's zip tie them. Because I can't really put them on too tight on here because it's plastic frame, but we could go super tight here. I'm looking for my zip tie cutters because they cut so there's no plastic. So just like that. Folded ruffle. Okay, so we did that one. So I'm going to put another one right here. And you can put it whatever direction you want, because we are just making this one up. And I'm going to go below where I have my zip tie, so that way it won't pull beyond that point. And I want my pipe cleaners out because we're going to utilize those for something. So we'll see how that works out. Ruffle. We're going to flip and fold. I'm just trying to get my ruffle contained. Zip tie, just because I cannot zip tie it to the frame as tight as I want it to be. This way I know I have my ruffle and they're really good and tight. Okay, now I'm going to go right in here. Again, up and over. This will also help hide the frame too. So see, nice and pretty. And it's keeping my ruffles a bit confined. Just like so. Folded ruffle, new technique. I think somebody already did a folded ruffle. Hasn't someone done it? A folded ruffle technique. I don't know if it looks like this though. Okay, we've done this one, so now I'm going to the bottom. I'm going to take these and push those out of the way. So it's going to go up. Okay. See how it's keeping things short? Because what generally happens is if you use 5-inch mesh, number one, you can never find it in the quality, the thickness that you want. The fact that we're doing it this way really covers up the base method a lot. So we're doing it just like this and folding. Zip tie. Because I'll get people say, well, why are you using zip ties? You should just use your pipe cleaners. It's because the wreath frame here is of such thin plastic that you can't get it as tight as you would like it to be. Okay, I'm going to pull these out of the way. Push this one in. I'm going to situate that one in nice and tight. Okay. And then we're going to do the one on top, so it's going to kind of fill in right in here. In, fold, zip tie. Sometimes when things change on a dime like this, I think it's kind of like God taking over and saying, hey, here's a new method. Try it like this. So I kind of just go with it. I'm going to grab, making sure. Okay. We might change the position. Oh, all we have to do is just move those up. I was like thinking, how am I going to cover all that up? It's just spin your ruffle around to keep it nice and tight. Just kind of go. So here, I just kind of put my finger in, spin it around. Because I guess in a sense I'm making them 5 inches. Trying to keep them really tight at the top. Like it's about a finger's width. Okay. I am now going to come in here. Going to add this one right in this section. Okay, and then I have one on the top. I gotta go find the pipe cleaner though. There it is. I'm liking this one. It's a little bit more work than the other one, but I'm liking the yield on it. Debbie, could you use the Wire Witch hat frame? Yes, I have done one. They're super big. So I have a method that I just cover the frame with fabric, and then it's like a sleeve, and then they can just change out the fabric sleeve with the holidays on that hat if they want. So that's kind of what I've done with that one in the past. I haven't thought to do one this big because it is such a big frame. That's my only issue. So I need to keep track of my pipe cleaners because I need to come back in and we're going to add, we're going to put a bow on this one. I haven't done bows in the past, but I felt like this needed a bow. So we're going to add a fun, like kind of a Santa bow. I'm going to take this one, move it that way. I'm going to flip this one to the side a bit. Couple twists. Okay. Look, it's looking so pretty. It's nice and full. Can't see the black frame. Sometimes in the past, even if you have pretty thick deco mesh, we can still see the frame. I will be doing these for Halloween, probably with the same technique now, the folded ruffle. This fabric mesh, you had to cut it with rotary, which is why you see all the frays. I think this one's gonna pop. It did. You can kind of tell when you don't get the zip. Okay. And then if you want, you can clean it up before you place it. I'm not feeling the need like we have to. So I'm gonna take this one, this one. Let me do it this way because this is really bugging me. How horrible that looked from getting stuck in the zip tie. Okay, looks so pretty. I have a thing about mess, can you tell? Okay, we've got one under here. Total of 3 more left. This is going to be really lightweight too because the frame is plastic, it's not metal. So, and the diameter on this finished is not really large, so this makes for really good office cubicle decoration, assisted living, because their door spaces are a little bit smaller. We're gonna just put this one. I'm just facing them in, putting my pipe cleaner around where my ruffle is. Take this. There we go. Nice, pretty ruffles. Okay. 2 more, and then we're done. I'm really liking this. This means that it'll be hard for me to sell, which means I'm gonna probably have to buy more of the fabric metallic mesh. I don't know why I keep throwing them on the counter. I'm so used to not having a trash can. Okay, this one I'm gonna bring in. I want it to go this way because I need it to camouflage a bit on the inside. Okay, we've got our one last piece, which is right here on the end. So I just kind of leave my finger in the center and then fold it around my finger and then zip tie it. And then that will actually help with most of the frays because the only place it can fray is right here. Looks like a little angel. Okay, this one right up here. We are going to go right on the inside. Okay, I'm just going to flip that around so we don't have to see. Oop, here's my pipe cleaner. Okay, that actually feels really nice and super thick. So I'm just going to take these. We're going to fluff a bit. Just like that. Look how gorgeous that is. Super, super thick, super full and fluffy. Right now, end to end is 19 inches. And then from here to the top, and we're not finished. Right now, finished is about 20 and a half. So let me do this while I'm thinking of it. We are going to, I'm going to cut these back a bit. I don't want them to be too long. We're going to put some balls on the ends of these. So pretty. Let's just do red and white since it's kind of a Santa hat. So I have small ones and large ones. So we're going to go like that. And then we'll add a white. It's kind of like an iridescent. I'm cutting these so they don't extend past the level where the mesh is. So I want them kind of close and tight. Like this one's a little out. And then of course you can spin them whatever direction you want. So no further. Actually, let's put this one here. It was a little too long. And I will go back in and glue these down. And then once we get our bow in, we can go in and really fluff through the design. So this will give you, since there's 13 pipe cleaners, it's going to give you 26 places to place your scatters and fillers. And these Hobby Lobby should start stocking, so when you see them in your Hobby Lobby, pick them up. You know, don't wait for the 40% off. Get them while you see them. Because if you wait for things to go on sale, you may miss the opportunity to get them. And then you're like, no, I can't find them at all. So we'll go red and then white. And so you see me, I'm constantly looking for where do these need to be. We'll push this one down. That can be up. I will also be trimming the frays because there's nothing you can do with that until when you're finished. You can do your scatters and your E6000 spray and spray that area and keep it from fraying anymore. So I'm going to push these ones way down. This way it'll kind of give you a little festive look. It'll also show you where, if you want to put a bow, might be a good bow spot for you. Remember, you can spin them any which way you'd like. Go down here. grabbing the one that has like two glued in the same spot. So it's probably about 2.5 inches on the pipe cleaner from where they hit the frame. That one's a little too long. Okay, there's one right here. These ones have like little sequins on them, so I have to kind of push them around the space that has the sequins on them. Okay, here's the last one right here. Ooh, it's gonna grab green. Okay, so there is our little festive area of scatters and fillers, and I'm just moving some of the pieces around. That, for the most part, does the embellishing around here. The one thing that we have to add is our belt buckle, which is super simple. That out. You will need black glitter ribbon. This is your belt. And we will need, this just prevents me from knocking it off the counter. These are all my little frays. We need our belt buckle, which I'm going to really carefully pull the glue off of. Okay, just to get rid of the black tinsel that's on there. We don't need that. You don't want to go too far and pull and make a hole. So now we have a clean belt buckle. Okay, so what you want to do is figure out roughly how much ribbon you're going to need. So I like to make it kind of high. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I think that's more than enough. Again, you'll have to make sure you're very snug on this part as well, because you don't want to have like a gap. So you just really have to play with the ribbon length. Okay, and then what you want to do, we're going to actually put this part in the back so we have a smooth front. But I'm looking and checking placement for it here. Do I want it to go a little lower? I think I'm okay with it there. Maybe I'll go just a smidge lower. So maybe like right here. Again, everything you do has to be like so specific so that you're not popping that frame. I've done it before. I've gotten the entire wreath done and then snap. And then you just have to make a whole new one. Okay, so I can go ahead and do this one. So I am going to hot glue to my mesh right in here. My glue gun is on low temperature. But even still, you can kind of feel it, the heat from that coming through. I'm going to pull and then make sure we've got a smooth finish on front, which we do. Looks really super nice. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go from this side. Just lay a nice bead. And we're going to make sure that's nice and smooth. Obviously, I mean, if you, because there's people be like, well, do you hide the back? No, never. I try to make the backs of the designs somewhat nice, that you can flip it over, kind of see how it's done. Okay, so back over this way. We are going to take our belt buckle and we're going to glue our belt buckle so it's straight. Always double check it. Don't do it upside down. So belt buckle is nice and straight. And I'm going to go all the way around the inside. And then I'll do the outside. I'm going to very carefully take that and lay that right on our ribbon. So we have a super nice look. I'm going to still keep fidgeting with my deco mesh. So there's nice and cute, and that's super fun. Okay, now we're almost done. Well, we're still gonna make the bow, but we need to put the little ball on the top. Where did I have it? Hobby Lobby at Christmas time will sell these things. They're called tinsel snowballs. They come in a pack of 8. If you like doing these wreaths, buy these, because they may not have them the following year. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to take your finger and you're going to work your way into the center of your snowball. I like the tinsel because it's got the sparkle. If you just get the regular snowballs, it doesn't have a metallic quality, and as you can tell, we're definitely playing to the metallic part. So you're going to just try to get as close to the inside as you possibly can. You're going to hold this open, and then you're going to fill it with glue. Trying really hard not to get burned. And then that is going to go right smack on the end of your Santa hat. And you're just going to hold and squeeze. And that's how you put the ball on the end of the Santa hat. So then, kind of looks like a Santa, right? Denise, would a strip of glitter vinyl work? You could, I don't know. I just usually always pick up a roll of black glitter, and you can find it, like right now, I think you can find it just about anywhere. You need it in the 1.5 inch. Hobby Lobby will always carry it as well. Sharon says, is spraying with Mod Podge the same as spraying with E6000? I don't know. I've only sprayed with E6000, which is a spray adhesive. And when it dries, it doesn't dry hard and crispy. It just dries nice and soft, which means that you can still kind of fluff and move things, but it'll help kind of keep these sprays from, you know, the more you play with it, obviously, you could sit here and take it, even if it's sprayed with the E6000, and pull it, and you could get it to come, but it just helps keep the pieces in place. So once that's on, it's got a nice and fluffy little Santa hat thing going on. So we're gonna add a bow, and then we're gonna make the hanger because it has to hang from somewhere, and everyone's gonna be different. There's gonna be some people that wanna hang it at the very, very top. I don't like to see the hanger on the back of my designs. So I don't like to have like a ribbon coming up so you can see that it's hanging on a door. I kind of like the illusion to be real so that it's on the door without you seeing the hanger. So when I do my hangers, they're always way down here so that when you hang it, you know, the hanger part is down in here and not up so high. But everyone will choose to do it a little bit differently. So let's go and make a simple bow. And I'm using all 1.5 inches, keeping with the sparkle feel. We're just gonna make a super simple one. It's gonna kind of go, I think maybe right in here. Put the bow on this side. I'm like trying to think balance wise. We've got a lean to this side. I don't know, maybe over here. We'll make the bow and then figure it out. So Bow Dabra, the ribbon choices that I'm using for today are 3 different ones. We are going to use this white Swiss, it's like a Swiss dot. It's not a true Swiss dot because that's what that looks like, but this has a little bit of a fur edge, kind of keeping with the white and fur. So knowing that I'm going to put a bow on it that's going to be in the white, we want to measure the length of our tail because we don't want it to go way crazy. So let's see, if we decide to go here, probably about that would be as far as I'd want it to go, which is 7 inches. So let's do the dovetail first. Remember, wired side to the wire, or folded side to the wired point. Just like that, gives you that perfect finished edge. Take that, push that out of the way. So we're gonna go 7 inches in and twist. Okay, and I'm gonna go probably, let's do 4 inches. That's 5. Let's go 4.5. So I'm gonna do 2 at 4.5. Bring that in. I'm trying to think. Do I want to do double bows? Let's keep it simple. I can always go back in and add more if I need to. So I was thinking, do I want to do 2 and then do another ribbon on top and then another ribbon on top of that? But I don't want a big full bowl. I want it kind of close into the belt. So there's that one. This ribbon is from Craft Outlet. And also where I got the black with the, I know I had another pin here. The black with the glitter was from Craft Outlet as well. And then I use this one because it's so pretty because it's got tinsel. This is like my new favorite. It's like retro Christmas. So I think retro Christmas is going to make a comeback this year, which means crazy Christmas colors. So we're going to dovetail this. This ribbon is from 5th Street Studios. And we're going to go 6.5 inches on this one. I'm going to go really small bow. And then we're going to do 4-inch loop. So 4. It's nice and pretty. 4. Ooh, pull that one out. And then out to 6.5. Dovetail edge. And just keep moving stuff this way, this general direction. And then we are going to take stuff you're going to start to see me use a little bit more of because I have so much of it, but I never use it. We're going to use some flex tubing because it's fun. And we're going to do 6 inches. So when you're measuring flex tubing, you don't pull it because it does stretch. You kind of want to leave it in the neutral, non-stretchy position. So I'm going to do a 6-inch tail. And I'm going to do, let's just do this one by hand. We need 7 inches because we want 3.5. Don't stretch. 3.5. And then we want, I think I'm going to take these down to 6. 6. And then we'll go out. Just something a little bit fun. So we can, I think that one went a little longer. It's just got a weird curve in it. This one we will do with the red pipe cleaner. So super fun, simple bow. You could do a zip tie if you'd like. With a plastic frame, everything is about not breaking that frame. I'm going to pull all my ribbon tails down because my bow is going to be at the bottom. So I'm going to alternate. So I'm going to go one high, one low. Kind of like holding this in one hand, pulling these down, just like so. Okay, let's look. I want to pull this one in a bit. For some reason it feels a little bigger on the loop size. So let's see, can we alter that? Man, I got that one in there so good. It doesn't want to move. Let us loosen it. And then it'll be easy. Okay. There we go. Just wanted to pull it down just a touch. It just felt a little bit big. Then I'm just looking. Or do I want it there? Or do I want it here? Do I want it here? Or do I want it here? Not sure. Here. Do you put it in the middle? No, I'm feeling like I'm still like undecided. Like I'm not sure if I want to put it here or down here. I'm feeling like it needs to be down here, which makes sense. So I'm just going right to the plastic frame. I'm going to take and push this, manually push, so I know how far down it needs to go. Lightly twist my ribbon, and then I can play with my bow and my tails a bit. And I like leaving my bow tails intact in this that if the customer wants to remove the bow, they can take the bow off if they don't want to use it on here. I like making it to where they can kind of customize it a bit, which means that I am going to fluff a bit more. And we'll trim that up. And we'll add our hanger, and then we're done. Look how pretty that is. Just like so. Let's see. We can even add a ball to the end. I like that. So I'm just tying the balls to the bow we're just gonna glue this in right to the center of our pipe cleaner. Just like that. Okay. So super simple. When you're gluing your balls back on, what you're going to do is pull them off. You're going to see right where your glue needs to go. You're going to add one small drop, and then you're going to push that back on, and then do the same with your second one. As long as you pull them off and then push them back on the same way. Trying not to burn myself with my glue. You will be just fine. And then once, of course, we stop playing with it, it will stop fraying. So I'm giving that a chance to set up. Let me glue another couple so that when I flip it over, I don't dislodge the little ball that's gluing there. So you want to always make sure that if you add your scatters and fillers, which, like I said, these came from Hobby Lobby. Dollar Tree sells them. I believe Amazon sells them. So just like so. And then I always remember, you know, just quality control side of things. You want to make sure you pull on all of them and make sure that they're all intact. Okay. I always want to make sure I hide the edges of my ribbon. And then we're going to flip this over because here's our back, and this is where we're going to attach that. Now, on the back of our frame, these are what we're hoping to hit. The center section here. Remember the tie that they have up here is way up here on this section. Remember I told you I don't like to see that. So I'm aiming for this section here with a red pipe cleaner. So I'm going to attempt to feel inside there, and I don't want to go all the way through to the other side. This is where if you have a, what do you call it? Fabric needle. I went a little higher than I probably should have. I'm trying to get it to go through all those layers of being wrapped. And then, of course, you always get that one stuck. Okay. The most difficult part, right, has to be trying to hook that middle frame, because I don't want to poke it through the other side and I don't want to snap. But boy, did I wrap that one tight. Let's do it this way. Let's go through this side. I really did wrap that super tight. I mean, really tight. See, I can see it right there. The problem is not getting it hung up anywhere it's supposed to be. Almost there. Okay, it's through. I just can't, my fingers aren't small enough to reach in and grab it. I should grab my yarn needle out of my sewing kit. It works so much faster. The whole thing is making it to where you don't want it coming through the other side. Okay, think. This should not be the end all be all right here. But I really did wrap that super tight. Like way super tight. So tight, in fact, that I am challenged in not poking that through to the other side. I am trying. Wow, I seriously cannot believe how tight I tied that around. And I'm getting it to pop out the other side and I don't want to. Let's see. I don't want to go any higher. I am just trying to create a pocket to get my pipe cleaner to go down. And like all good pipe cleaners, let me go grab my yarn needle. It's getting stuck. So I just don't want to snap. I'm still recording. I'm just having a challenge. And I don't want to snap my yarn needles because they're just made out of plastic. Plastic with plastic, right? See, my yarn needle wants to go through the other side. And it's going through the other side, which is where I don't want it to go. I need something with a twist in it. Something with a twist. Wow, who would have ever thought I wrapped it so tight I'm just trying to figure out where it's going, because when I poke it, I'm not seeing it come through either side. Let me use, who would have thought this would be the end all? I can get them through the smallest of spaces. So we're just trying to take the bend out of the wire and put a new bend in. And it's just such a small. I got it. I got it. All that, right? Just to go around the plastic piece. So you have the option of putting your pipe cleaner in first and then attempting to wrap around that piece. I'm actually going to go right in through here. I'm trying to find a good, you always want to make sure it's balanced too. So that one is, I would really like to put a pipe cleaner in there over the, whatchamacallit, the wire. But I'm afraid if I try to twist it, it's just going to pull through. Let's see. It went through pretty easy. In the past, I usually just use the 22 gauge floral wire. Oh, okay. We are just going to be using the floral wire to make our hanger. That has to be decorated. That just does not seem right. So let me pull that down. Let me take this one up a bit. Go under. There we go. Okay. So make a nice loop. And we're just going to twist this all the way around. What a pain. What would I do differently? Because it was the floral, the mesh with catching on all the cotton threads, catching on all the metallic ends. I just want to make sure. This folds perfect. And we are going to try to get a nice smooth edge through there, like this. And there we have our hanger to the back of our Santa hat. So there we are. Mission accomplished with 50,000 different implements. Yeah, the yarn needles, they're great, but they're plastic. So you always run the risk if you're using your yarn needle to pull your wire through or your pipe cleaner that you could snap it, because I've done that before making the fabric pumpkins. I've snapped my needle before trying to get it through fabric. So you always have to be super careful. And most of the ones that they give you that are metal are thin. So that doesn't work, because as we get older, we need diameter in order for us to grab onto. So what do you guys think? Yeah, I thought about that, Gloria. She says maybe as you wrap it, you can poke the pipe cleaner through the layer. It doesn't work that way. I have the mesh, that same kind of mesh. Zip tie is more flexible. It is, but then you see the zip tie, and I just kind of made that look like a little wrapped wire type of, like, I just wrapped the wire so it looks pretty and doesn't look so blah. But And then of course we need to clean up the back side, which is just take the zip tie pipe cleaner, and I always cut it back because it doesn't need to be quite that long, and I just tuck that back in. So then if they want to take it off, take the bow off, they can definitely take the bow off. I'm going to be sitting here gluing the rest of my balls on, but I hope you guys like the tutorial. You can, like I said, if you want to get your pipe cleaner started, like for example in this one, if you had your pipe cleaner going right here, see, it's even tight there for zipping that through. So it's really tight. You can just kind of have it like this, and then as you're wrapping it, kind of poke it through your mesh, and then you're one step ahead of the game. That's how I would do it. But this, again, whole new process, figuring it out from scratch, but I like the ability of doing, hard to believe that it went from that to that, right? Something new for you guys, something fun. I'm keeping the mesh a little bit tight into the frame a little bit more so it doesn't, in the past they've gone way big. Now this with the, we're still right at 21 inches, so it didn't even really add much there. And we're still at 19 inches here. So there you go. Santa hat wreath. I have to check the price point on these. I think in the past, I want to say 57 in the past. And this will be interesting because if Dollar Tree discontinues the frame, all people are going to have the ability to do is the really long ones. They don't have the little twist here off to the side. So that will make these even more exclusive because nobody can replicate that design. So we'll have to kind of wait and see where that kind of falls in the midst of everything that will be coming down the pipeline. But I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. It was fun. And I will see you guys on Friday for another Christmas design. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon.